The Treasury Department announced what their plan is for new currency yesterday. So we covered part of this story yesterday when we said they're planning on putting a woman now on the $20 bill instead of the $10 bill. But now we actually know the exact changes that they're making. So the International Business Times explains here. The $5 bill is set to get an upgrade of sorts. While former President Abraham Lincoln's image will still grace the front of it, the reverse side of the bill is set to honor historic events that occurred at the Lincoln Memorial, including moments made memorable from the likes of civil rights icon Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., opera singer Marian Anderson, and former First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. All right, so let's pause right here. Now, my first reaction is I like that. I like those changes. I think it's awesome. But somebody made a good point yesterday. Josh Sager, the progressive cynic on Twitter, reached out to me and said, you know, given all of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s positions, I actually don't think he'd want to be on money because he had very biting critiques and accurate ones, in my view, of the United States and capitalism. And he believed, like Bernie Sanders does, in democratic socialism. Now, that still includes elements of capitalism, but he was very harsh in his criticism, and he hated the military-industrial complex. He said, our government is the biggest purveyor of violence around the world today. So maybe he wouldn't want to be on money in said country. I don't know. So, unfortunately, we can't ask him. He's gone. But in terms of a symbolic gesture to say, okay, we're going to honor our heroes, that's the intent here, and I agree with that intent. So it's still a little bit of a mixed question as to whether or not they should do it, because maybe he wouldn't want to be on it, but I'm not mad at this. In fact, I kind of like it because their point is to honor him either way. All right, so more here. The $20 bill will also get new treatment in the form of featuring renowned runaway slave Harriet Tubman on its front, replacing Andrew Jackson. The new $20 bill will enter into circulation in 2020. The new $10 bill will keep Alexander Hamilton on the front, but its flip side will celebrate the history of the women's suffrage movement. The back will showcase images of historic women, including Sojourner Truth and Susan B. Anthony. Okay, so I like that too. The one thing that I'm not too big of a fan of here is they did this silly incremental change thing where they said, okay, we're going to put Harriet Tubman on the front of the 20, but they put Andrew Jackson on the back of it. Now, for those of you who don't know the history of Andrew Jackson, I suggest you read up on the history of him. He's most known for, today, the Trail of Tears, the Indian Removal Act, owning anywhere from 150 to 300 slaves in his life. He was big-time pro-slavery. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong, are there other aspects of his legacy where you can say it counteracts it a little bit and he wasn't as bad in some other areas? Yeah, but I call me crazy, those ones are kind of a big deal to me. Now, it is true when people respond to this and they say, yeah, but it was a different time. So, you know, they didn't view it the way we view it today. That's true. But again, my counter to the counter would be, but we do view it today in what I think are morally clear and accurate terms when we say, hey, you know, slavery, unequivocally incorrect, like just dead wrong. And genocide, yeah, no, but no, that's basically the worst thing you could do. So, I like the fact that he's no longer going to be on the front, but honestly, I don't know why you even bother to put him on the back. Like, the only argument I can think of from people who want to keep the bills the same is tradition. They just, okay, whatever, it's been like that, so leave it. Why are you doing PC outrage? But again, my response to that is nobody's more anti-PC outrage than me. Go look at my segments on it with trigger warnings and safe spaces, and I think all of that is stupid. I've argued vehemently against all of it. I don't think this is PC outrage. I think this is just intelligence. I think this is just people saying, okay, who are actual heroes that more embody our values today? And when you look at somebody like Harriet Tubman, when you look at somebody like Rosa Parks, you know, when you look at somebody like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., when you look at some people in the women's suffrage movement, yeah, I think these people more wholly embody human rights and a liberal value system that stands up the test of time, stands up against the test of time. It can withstand the scrutiny of time. We look back at what these people did and we say, oh, that's still correct, and that was very heroic and brave at the time. Whereas the more time passes, the more you look at somebody like Andrew Jackson, you go, oh, so in some ways he was a vicious prick. That's not politically correct. That's just correct. It's not, there's no outrage or anything like that. It's just, it's a smarter idea to put better people on the currency if we want to have a better representation of who we are, and to show that, hey, this is what we really believe in, and this is what should really represent the best of America.